Started. I am apparently live. So let's wait for YouTube to confirm this. Live. And yes, we are live. Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another hangout. So I know it's been a while, but some debunking is overdue. So it's Mr. Thrive and Survive again, so prepare for some stupidity.
I mean, I was kind of given considering it's the debunk.
Yeah, I already have to apologize in advance for all the forehead suffering that you have to endure, and all the broken monitors and keyboards.
Put a lot of stupidity on your channel for this, Joe.
Well,
Mr. Thrive and Survive on here is such a prominent. Your channel's filled up with his gibberish.
Let's be honest, my channel is only filled with gibberish.
Oh, come on, I did that mega hangout a year ago when I did debunk, even shut up bloody Nathan with that Isle of Man analysis for 3 hours.
Yeah, but that was fucking awesome. I mean, we pretty much identified details down to 0.5 meter in diameter.
We did a good job there.
So, by the way, you might have noticed with me today I have the Rumpus. Hi Rumpus, how are you?
Hey, hey Alex.
I also have Microblognism.
I'm also here, yes. I also exist. I am an entity.
And last but not least, I have Sly, who is currently outside smoking. So he's not here at the second, but he shall return in like a minute or two.
He's destroying his lungs instead of his brain.
On the other hand, I'm drinking smoked wheat beer at the moment, which is probably the only beer that can give you lung cancer. So that's fair.
If you pour it down your lungs...
I detest smoky beers. I absolutely detest them.
Oh no, they're so good.
Oh my god.
You still haven't tried it, Rumpus, so don't judge.
I went to a dark beer festival. Admittedly, it wasn't wheat beers a few months ago, and it was the most disgusting collection of. There's a certain collection of dark beers that are also smoky that I just find absolutely objectionable. I don't like smoked paprika, for instance, as well. I find that really objectionable. There's obviously something about being smoky that I don't like, but smoked beers are my idea of the worst drinking.
All the smoked beers I've had has basically been like drinking liquid salami.
Wait a second, did you just say smoked beer festival in Italy?
No, my local town.
Oh my god! Don't say smoked beer. Shit.
Dark beer festival, of which a number of the beers were smoky and I go absolutely bonkers with it. I can't take it.
Okay, as you can
hear, it's funny. I was all the way across the room, standing out on my balcony, and through my headphones, I could hear Rumpus.
Well, so I'm getting through to you, Sly.
Hi, Sly. How are you?
Oh, we're live?
Yes, we are live.
Oh shit! Okay, hi.
Okay, so Sly, you have already done, 2 videos, 1 live stream, 1 edited actually video about this topic, but you stopped at his live stream. So there will be some claims that you haven't seen yet, at least I hope. And even if you did watch the video, it's gonna be painful anyway.
No, I haven't watched the new one yet because I didn't want to spoil it for the because apparently I jumped the gun on you.
Well, yeah, I was a little bit too slow on this one. You were faster, and credits to you. But as you will see, it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get really bad. So, without further ado, by the way, Sly,
How long is the video, Alex?
It's 20 minutes.
Oh shit! It's gonna be 4-hour hangout.
Yeah. More or less, yes.
4, 5, 6, maybe 7. We'll see.
Maybe we are gonna shut this down earlier, depending on how actually disappointed in humanity we are. Okay. But without further ado, we're gonna start right now. By the way, Sly, I increased the volume of the video massively, so you might, if it's too loud for you, just tell me and I'm gonna turn it down a little bit.
What?
So, let's go. Oh wait, actually I gotta share my screen first. There we go. That's much better, YouTube. I hope you can see it. Let's go.
I don't see shit yet.
So I actually did a test. And what distance does the umbra and penumbra start to happen using our sun?
Wait.
Well, the answer is...
Wait. Did he just ask when shadows start to appear?
Pretty much.
Yeah, basically.
No, that's what he did.
So far, he's not understanding that the umbra and penumbra basically start appearing instantly after or behind the object.
As soon as the light hits it.
let me just say this, because there I find that Rich actually watches your stuff, because of that. Remember the lunar thing? The Rich, shadow is a blanket term for something that is blocking light, but umbra and penumbra are part of just two different parts of a shadow. Period. That's all it is. It's like cheeseburger. You hear the word cheeseburger, you think of a cheeseburger, and that's got at least two things on it. It's got, or at least three. It's got burger, cheese, and bread. They all belong to the same thing. It's not just shadow, then umbra and penumbra. Moron.
He really thought they were different things.
Well, I mean, umbra literally means shadow.
Yeah.
It's just in Latin.
Yeah.
Really?
Umbra itself means like cover or something like that. I forgot what it means.
Cover, shadow, like
it's where we get the word umbrella from.
Yes, it's from yes,
exactly.
umbrella gets in there, yeah.
Which is
And it's an
weird,
umbrella term.
considering you don't use an umbrella to shadow you. That's a parasol.
Yes, but they call it an umbrella, though. I think.
But usually when you need an umbrella, it's not. The sun isn't out. It's raining.
Yeah, but when they refer to an umbrella, they're referring to a parasol, I think.
Did you ever notice that Rich's tree doesn't have any fruit on it?
Well, that is not unexpected, is it?
It's not much of a tree all round.
I mean, that tree also looks fairly sick to begin with.
Yeah,
so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I
It looks
thought
more like
people
a
stopped
face.
parting their hair down the middle there.
Let's continue.
Oh, it's not over?
You wish.
Yes, people pay him to do this shit.
God. Jesus.
Hey everybody, Christmas will thrive and survive. This video is going to look at the science, and we're going to do science, actual real observations here, to see if what NASA and mainstream scientists has been trying to sell us, and which has been universally accepted without question, is the umbra penumbra that is created by the sun, moon, and earth, whatever, depending on the type of eclipse you're looking at. And what we're going to be looking at here is, this comes from my Jupiter video.
Oh, wow, he got it right.
Below to that, and maybe I'll put a card in the upper right-hand corner here. The idea that we have a 70-mile wide shadow caused by the moon supposedly blocking sunlight on the earth. Okay, I had to cut in here just to show the ridiculousness of the comparison between the two and how off
Yeah,
the shadow
he
really
plays
is.
his own shit and then narrates it.
Oh, that's really confusing.
And why would you use the Blue Marble Project image as your image? I mean, it's pretty, but
on Jupiter. Let's look at this. This is a. Are we seeing the whole half of the Earth? Who knows? Same
No.
thing with Jupiter.
Impossible.
Well, yeah, not completely.
No. Any time that the aperture of the viewing device or eyeball is, if the aperture, like your pupil, is smaller than the object that you're viewing, then there's absolutely no way that you could see a full hemisphere.
Yeah, correct.
So
but
what you're
you're
saying
getting
is we need a really big space telescope.
correct, Sly. But as soon as you get far enough away, you're seeing almost half of it.
It's still
Yeah.
still only almost.
Yeah, again, still only almost. But saying that you see a little bit half of
though,
it is
it's bloody
fair
close
enough.
to all of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I'll give you that. But like I said, if we're going to speak pure geometry here, there's absolutely no way to see a full half hemisphere. I mean, there was that whole argument that was going on for a while that people were, they put their mouse on the right side of the Earth in Google Earth, and then they move it all the way to the left, and they say, look, I should be, only have to do this 2 times, and I get right back to the same space, and people aren't realizing that they're not able to actually see a full half hemisphere. It's just impossible.
I like that you said half hemisphere. That's technically a quarter.
Whoops.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
One hemisphere.
Yeah, one hemisphere.
So let's look at this, and let's look at Lake Okeechobee over here. Lake Okeechobee in Florida is just under 30 miles, 39.85 miles wide. So it's you double that, you get 80 miles.
No, but okay. Let's say it this way: he's not off by 10 magnitudes like he was a few streams ago. So I'll give him that one.
He's improving.
So you double this, that would be the shadow that the
No, it would
solar
be the
eclipse
umbra.
made across North America as it was going
Right.
across. So let's take a look at that just real quickly, and we're going to compare that to Jupiter. So here it is, Lake Okeechobee. Sorry, it's not very clear here, but again, this is roughly 40 miles. It's almost
It's okay,
a
Rich.
circular,
You're not very clear.
more north-south than east-west, but we're going to go with 40 miles.
We know why.
And what I did was I did the math. If you multiply the width of this by 2.3, then you get 70 miles wide. So there's Lake Okeechobee. Forget about this outer circle. I was just using that for a different scale. We're going to use something better than that.
Why would you put things up
And,
that you keep on saying, forget about this and forget about that, don't use this and forget that? I mean, did you not even check your own audio? Because he's got little things come up that are correcting himself. It's like he's fact checking himself, even though, I mean, who does that?
Him.
Yeah, well, he's just not correctly editing this. Maybe
No, yeah,
he's
'cause,
using the
it-
graphics for multiple videos and just keeping everything in there.
He's being lazy.
I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I mean, I've done live streams and I've tripped up over my own words or things that I'm putting together, but this is a recorded and produced video.
Yeah.
Well, let's be fair to him. It's not as bad as that Riley mistake, Foucault.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, that was bad, man.
I mean, that's just Riley's life in general.
That's true. Flat
So what
runways,
does that
flat
look like
runways.
if we put that on the map? So at Lake Okeechobee, where this black spot is right here, the width of Florida is almost exactly 140 miles. It's like 139 point something. So I did that on Google Earth. Let me check that. Let's take a look at that.
Oh, now you
Here we
trust
go.
Google.
Now you're
This
gonna
yellow
check.
line
Yeah,
going-
right.
Do you notice something?
What?
Take a look at the line that he drew for the width of Florida.
Yeah, he just kind of picked two spots.
Yeah, it's not perpendicular. The line's not perpendicular to the coastlines.
Mm.
If you wanted to do this correctly, it would be, I don't know, maybe 5 kilometers or something less. At least try to be as precise as possible when doing something like that.
And plus,
I mean, he's already eyeballing it with the width of the lake.
now with the word would be used in general to say the left to right. Well, then why aren't you going from Tallahassee to Pensacola, which is up along the northern border of Florida? That's about 3 times as long.
Well, I assume that he's talking about the peninsula, not the
Yeah.
dangly bit.
He
But
said the width of Florida. Just saying.
Not the girth.
Yeah, but it's all pretty random anyway, isn't it? I mean, you could pick its angle,
Yeah.
pick the spot.
I get what he's trying to do, but he's doing this stupid, super long way to say, okay, I'm going to make a spot on here. This is how big it is.
Yeah, it's completely unnecessary to use
Yes.
a specific lake in Florida.
Well, I don't understand. Why does he care what Florida? If he's got the scale of the lake from Google Earth, why is he messing around with the width of Florida? I don't understand.
He's trying to use Lake Okeechobee as a benchmark and stuff like that. But I mean, he's taken how long is he taking to say, okay, how about 2 widths of Lake Okeechobee? I mean,
so far maybe 2
why
minutes.
go all these? Yeah, why go this whole length? Fucking moron. Good.
Across right here.
I just don't understand
I
what we're
measured that.
achieving
That's
here.
cutting straight across Lake Okeechobee in Florida. That's 139.33 miles. So that's 70 times 2 is 140. So we're not going to get much better than that as far as scale. So if we take half of this diameter across and make a ball out of it, we're going to end up with a 70-mile wide shadow. Hopefully
That's a
everybody
very
can agree on that.
flow
That's just
videos.
simple.
Yeah, no shit.
So that's what I did here. I took
Yeah, okay. Let's give him that one for approximating the size of the umbra. That's actually reasonable.
Yeah, but if he's using a measure tool, all he has to say, okay, this is 70 in diameter or 35 in radius.
Yeah. What are we doing? If he's using Google Earth to measure this damn thing, just shove a bloody thing however how big. So presumably he's
Well,
trying
I
to
think
get
it's
the.
because he wants to use this picture rather than Google Earth to do it. So he
But he's
needed to like get
But
translate
but
between them.
he's supposed to be the master of scale and what did he call it? Scale and shit. He called it something. Scale and ratio. You know, I mean, shit. Draw it out on Google Earth, and then make a similar one to scale and ratio on the blue marble thing. I mean, come on.
Just
So
imagine
presumably-
yourself. Just imagine calling yourself the master of scale and ratio, like having that stand in your CV or something. That's just super
Yeah,
fucking
right. No
embarrassing.
shit.
Master of adding.
He's had his 200 free business card printed out.
It's like saying I'm the master of adding 1 and 1 together to get 2. You know,
Let's be honest, Rumpus. If Mr. Thrive and Survive was to add 1 and 1, he would end up with 11.
Yeah, this is true.
So what the whole? Perhaps I missed the start because I couldn't hear very well. This he's trying to get something the size of the penumbra, is he?
The Umbra.
The umbra.
Oh,
Sorry.
as you said, the shadow.
The 60 miles. Was it 60 miles or something? Isn't it?
70 miles approximately,
70
yeah.
miles, right, okay. So all he's trying to do is to draw something that's 70 miles across. That's the only thing he's trying to do here. And he's decided to go via bloody lakes and Florida instead of using Google Earth to do it. Right, I get it.
Not just that. What do you call it? He's doing this completely arbitrary because of the fact that he's going by the great U.S. eclipse in 2017.
Yes.
He's using that measurement when not all eclipses have that. You know, I mean, there's the annular eclipse, the Ring of Fire eclipse, and stuff like that, where the umbra is actually 0.
Yeah.
Actually, it's minus because you're standing in the antumbra
Exactly.
of the shadow.
Remember that there's also
so-
hybrid eclipses which start annular and then become total.
Yeah, and so it's just
And
like
they get better gas mileage.
yeah. So I mean, he's just picking out one set of numbers from one particular eclipse when not all of the eclipses are like that. There's some of them that don't even have. Hey, Rich, wait till you find out. There's some of them that don't even have what you're showing.
There's an awesome comment in the side chat by RH Vet. Like Knife is so incompetent, I don't think he'd even get 1 + 1 = 11. He'd wind up with 16 because that's legal in Arkansas.
Oh damn. Actually, I'm not even gonna go there.
I'm not saying anything considering the legal age here is 15.
It's 14 over here.
Yeah, there's some states where there's actually no such thing as a legal age as far as parental consent required to get married. Some U.S. states don't even have it. Look it up.
So they're relying on parents not being idiots.
Why is the United States considered a first world country again? I think I forgot.
Don't know.
Let's continue.
Look halfway across. And I know this is when it's on this kind of scale, it's not very circular. It's just, you're seeing the imperfections in the graphics. And but anyway, that is a 70-mile wide shadow that we would see on the Earth. So what does that look like if we zoom out, okay, and look at the whole disk? Let's take a look at that. All right, now I'm going to be able to show you the whole disk here. Here it is again. It's actually a little bit bigger than halfway across. So again, I'm going with the other side a little bit here. We're going to select this, and we're going to copy it and move it to around the middle of the country where it went through. So if we had a satellite picture like we had with Jupiter, what would that look like?
A big blur mess.
There we go. Look at that. Little teeny little dot.
Stop. I mean, obviously the elephant in the room here is that he's completely forgetting the umbra. And if you include
the
all of it...
Penumbra.
the penumbra. How big is the penumbra again in total in terms of diameter? Like 5,000 or 6,000 kilometers?
Yeah, it was like the all of North America.
Yeah, basically half of the northern hemisphere.
Pretty much.
Oh, I don't think. Fort.
It was quite big.
No, I don't think it was that big.
No, it was.
But it's obviously a little bit bigger than the moon.
It was all of North America.
Was it really? I don't remember being that.
Let me check it out.
I mean, you can literally just go see, hey, look up, hey, where can I see it?
So yeah, it's
And they were
almost
showing
going down
parcels.
to the equator. It's somewhere between 5 and 6,000.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
So yeah,
I've never
that thing
been-
is huge, and he's completely ignoring it.
Yeah, because to him, the only thing that's shadow is the umbra,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
because
is
again,
where he's getting his
just-
numbers from. And like I said, not every eclipse. I mean, the majority of eclipses that actually occur that people view are penumbral or antumbral.
Slide, did I ever tell you the story of my of the eclipse that I watched back in '99?
Oh, no, I didn't. You didn't tell me about it, but
Oh man,
I know about it.
it's super sad. So you remember in '99 we had a total solar eclipse over here in southern Germany,
Mm-hmm.
and I was 6 years old back then. Family drove down to Augsburg, which was where the totality zone would pass over.
Right.
And well, the sky was completely clear the entire day, apart from like 25 minutes around the time of totality where we had a fucking thunderstorm and couldn't see shit.
Yeah, that's Germany right there.
Yeah,
for
that's
you.
that's a
Oh
shame.
yeah. By the way, anybody who's planning on taking any kind of vacation to Germany, don't look at the weather, because just be happy that it says Germany, because that's all you need to know. There's no predicting the weather in this country.
Still better than Austria though. Hashtag still better than Austria.
That's just a given. It's Austria.
Yeah, let's
Well,
continue.
When I used to live in Florida, we said, you know why Florida hasn't fallen off into the sea? Because Georgia sucks. So,
Ooh, that's a good one. For fuck's sake.
Little teeny Rosanna Dana. Look at that. Now, let's compare.
I'm sorry, but I have to do this joke. That's probably what his wife says as well.
oh damn. Well, Rosanna Dana is a character that was in Saturday Night Live. I forgot the woman who played her, but so he's just using it as I don't know, showing his age, I guess.
But was she particularly small, or
Not really.
so? How is it a reference?
Don't ask me, man.
For the people that don't know, I was making a penis joke.
Yeah, I know you were.
No, we got that.
Yeah,
caught
but
that.
some of the people in the audience might not have understood it.
So now you explained it. You're great.
I'm still getting over the fact that in '99 you were 6 years old.
I know, right?
Gilda
fucking-
Radner, thank you.
it's fucking
Thank you.
scary. And you're old, very old.
Yeah.
Compare that to Jupiter.
No.
Yeah,
Okay. Micro, you've already noticed. Let's switch to Celestia. So everybody in the yeah, you're gonna see it anyway. So
He's not doing this. He cannot be this. Oh my god.
yes. So this picture taken from the Juno spacecraft was taken from very low altitude above Jupiter, using a very wide angle lens. So let me
Which
share.
I displayed that on my video.
Yeah, so let me do this actually manually. So I'm going to Jupiter. You should be able to see it, and I think the people in the side chat should be able to do as well. And
Okay.
let's increase the speed a bit until we find a solar eclipse.
Yes, they can.
What's that program?
It's called Celestia.
Celestia.
He's used it multiple times.
I've never seen it before.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Well, I mean, I keep getting thrown all these cool
on.
programs and stuff like that, and I just haven't.
Oh. There. Oh, IO. No.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Let's just wait until it's in the middle. There we go. Okay, so what I can do is I can actually split this horizontally or vertically. Horizontally. Fuck, that's the wrong one. Vertically. There we go. So what I'm gonna do is on the left one, I'm gonna move away from the planet and then basically zoom all the way in. So having a telephoto lens.
Oh.
And then on this one, oopsie, there we go. So setting it like this. On this one, I'm gonna move very close to it while simultaneously zooming out.
So you're doing. Oh, that has a name. It's the thing. It has a name in movies. It's the thing they use it when they like like
Yeah, they started in Jaws.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
dolly move thing, I think.
Dolly Zoom. Or
it's a
something.
the dolly zoom I think is something like that, which is
To everybody in chat, if you knew how many programs I deal with on a daily basis, do not be surprised. I've never used this one. Jesus Christ.
So as you can see, even though this is exactly the same moment in time, 6th of February 2020 at 1:11 UTC, as you can see in the top right corner, the apparent size of that solar eclipse only depends, or partially depends, on the position of view of the observer, in this case a probe, over the planet, the distance, basically the distance and the zoom level of the observer. And as you can see, on the left, the shadow looks very small in comparison to the entire size of the planet, while on the right it looks much bigger, much bigger.
You got to zoom in a little bit more on your right side guy there.
Yeah, I can't zoom in further. This is 180 degrees field of view, and Celestia doesn't allow for more. So that's the maximum I can do in the program.
You're at the right height, are you, Alex, for this?
I
you
literally
at
can't get
30,000?
closer and zoom out further. It's not possible.
Right, so the actual shot from Juno is even closer.
wait.
And they've...
Yes.
Rotate downwards a bit.
You mean like
As in,
like this?
okay, no, I wasn't going to do it. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, whatever. I can't get closer in this, and as you can see, in terms of
the point is made.
in terms of size, this looks a few times bigger than this
So
on
I'm
this
assuming that only represents the umbra.
side. You can actually see the penumbra in here.
That's Umbra and Penumbra, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It actually has it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the program is
just-
intelligent enough to do this.
Just so you know, I actually worked out those numbers. Yes, the apparent the size of Io is approximately the same size as the moon.
It's a little bit bigger, a few like 200 kilometers or something.
Yeah, but the distance from the Earth to the moon versus the surface of the clouds to Io is somewhat similar.
Now,
Now-
why don't we
now
actually
here's-
simulate the entire thing?
no, but I just want to say one other thing here, because I did all this research. I just didn't want to make it a long, boring video, and but the last part of it is that the angular size of the sun at Jupiter is only like 0.1 degrees, whereas obviously here on Earth it's 0.5.
Yeah, it's 5 times further out. The Jupiter's at
So
like
you're-
5.5
you're
AU, I think.
Right, so you're going to have a smaller penumbra, larger umbra, but obviously never larger than the moon itself.
Correct. So let's actually simulate this eclipse. So here's the Wikipedia article for Io. A size 3,640. So radius would be half of that, so that's 1,820 approximately.
Help, I'm shrinking.
1,800, yeah, about 30.
Can you just like type in the number?
No, I can't, but you know what, that's close enough. 10 kilometers more or less, doesn't matter. And distance, average altitude or radius of the orbit, 421,800. So let's set that for 421. Whatever, 420 will do. Let's zoom into that. So the the full lines, those represent the umbra, and the dotty lines, those represent the penumbra. And let's just compare that in size to this.
And let's just confirm.
Take a
you
look
get
at that.
the-
That's pretty fucking close, isn't it?
Right, you've got the scale right of the Jupiter to Io to the Sun. You've got in this diagram. Haven't you?
Yeah, yes, I have.
Good. Yeah. Okay.
So somewhere along those lines. Obviously, I haven't done this completely correctly, but in terms of size, it looks approximately right. So what we expect in Celestia is basically confirmed by what we get in GeoGebra. And by the way, penumbra size here would be 4,200 kilometers in diameter, while the umbra size is 3,030 kilometers.
Right.
So
that's only-
the umbra a little bit smaller than the moon, the penumbra a little bit bigger than the moon, as expected.
Yes, because the sun's far away.
Yep. So let's go back to the video. I have to change for you guys in Discord.
What did we say the distance was from Jupiter to Io? Did you say it was the same as the distance between Earth and Moon?
It's a little bit more, 420,000.
Right. Okay.
But by the way, the model that I made
well,
also includes the Earth-Moon system, just in case we need it.
And of course, is that just from the surface of them?
No, that's
from
the
the center.
radius of the. That's just like.
Right. So it's actually quite a bit closer to the surface of Jupiter then,
Well, I mean, Jupiter, like.
because Jupiter's so big.
Yeah, obviously we're talking about the radius of the orbit.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the surface, we're talking about the center point of Jupiter here.
Yeah. Right. So it's actually a lot closer to the surface than the Moon is to the surface of the Earth.
A little bit, yeah. Not much.
I wouldn't say a lot. Like Jupiter's still fairly small compared to the size of
It actually overlaps. Jupiter has a diameter of 120,000 kilometers or so, which means that the radius is 60,000. Therefore, the distance from the Moon to from Io in this case to the surface of Jupiter would be 360,000, which is approximately the same as we have from Earth to the Moon.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay.
So that's pretty close. By the way, the model can also simulate all the other 4 Galilean moons. I just set it for Io because that's just the eclipse that I found in Celestia, which will be the next one. By the way, if you see this, probably not, because Jupiter is very close to the sun at the moment. Take out your telescopes and take a look at it, because it's going to be awesome.
I mean, take out your telescope and look at Jupiter no matter what if you can, because it's Jupiter.
Yes, and by the way, you can see the 4 Galilean moons only using binoculars. So that's fucking cool.
Indeed, it is.
Hence why they're called that.
Let us continue.
There's a little bit difference, huh? And if we have to, well, let's do this. Let's look at the difference here now.
Oh, and by the way, Sly, do you want to add anything regarding the bands of the planet?
He's
Sly?
muted.
He's muted, so he's smoking again, probably.
I don't know.
Yeah, for all the people watching, go to Sly's most recent video where he actually broke down this picture that is on screen right now, basically comparing the size of the shadow to the colored cloud bands on Jupiter around it. So
That's a good way to get the size. Yeah.
Yep, and you can basically see that the image on the bottom that is shown right now is completely distorted because the Juno probe was very close to the planet and using a very wide-angle lens.
You're going to say, oh, you're not showing all the Jupiter. Well, go look at my other video. And go to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory site that I left a link to where you can see the entire disk. But let's compare Jupiter's size to the Earth. Here we go. Look at all these Earths that can fit into the side of Jupiter. All right.
What? Why?
So how...
Why is there big red spot? Why is not placing Earth in there? Why is he using that as one of the Earths? That's a bit weird.
Yeah, so let's just live with it. I think it's not going to make any difference, is it, to the stupidity?
I don't think that this is his picture.
It
It might be that somebody else made this picture in order to compare the size of the great red spot to the size of Earth.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
big would the spec be? All right. There is no comparison. Only cognitive dissonance would allow you to destroy your own thinking here and say, oh, they're pretty much comparable, Rich.
You know what would be an interesting question for Rich?
What?
Why don't we get the shadow of Earth on Jupiter?
Wait, what?
That would just drive him absolutely bonkers. Well, I mean, there has to be a point where, you know, Jupiter and the Earth would be in alignment at some point. And so, or any other planet for that matter.
But Sly, you have to remember, as it's told us in the beginning, like shadows don't, like, you have to be a certain distance to things before shadows start.
That's true, man, because Genesis says that God created the heavens and the earth. He created light, but he didn't create shadows. So according to him, shadows are a NASA invention.
I don't think you'll get a number of those.
Which of course also means that eyelids don't work. So closing your eyes would.
Obviously, Rumpus, you're right. You wouldn't
get an umbra.
Yeah, you wouldn't get an umbra at the distance. That's true.
No, but I'm having fun with that.
Okay, right. Well, have fun. No harm in having fun with him. I mean, we can see this instantly. Where I mean, it's just so sad. I mean, we can just spend the next 2 hours basically. I mean, he's basically demonstrated his basic problem is he just doesn't realise that this shot is of a close bloody Jupiter, and we've all recognised this is the problem. And he's going to spend his entire 20-minute video is basing on this, and then all this is going to be his premise upon which everything piece of stupidity is going to follow.
Maybe he will come up with something else stupid.
More stupid, basically. Yes, I suppose it's layers of stupidity, but we know what the premise here is very, very stupid.
I mean, this is already dumb enough.
Yeah.
Did you know that in his live stream he actually had an Umbra and Penumbra going on behind him?
Yeah, we will see that later in this video too, Sly.
Oh, okay, cool.
So he's gonna debunk himself live on video. So that's gonna be hilarious.
A little bit different angles and the Umbra. Oh yeah, Umbra Penumbra. Let's get into that because this is the heart of the meat of the matter right here.
The heart of the meat?
Okay, back to the video that was sent to me. Now, granted, this is going to sound a little weird pulling in the Kennedy assassination here, but just think of the narrative that was given that people believed simply because they would not trust
Are we looking at another video
what their
now?
senses
Why
and
have
logic
we got
told
the
them.
president on
What the
screen?
fuck does JFK have to do with this?
So
You mixed
basically,
up some videos. Sorry, Alex, what have you done here? You mixed up 2 videos.
no, I haven't mixed up anything. Basically, Mr. Thrive and Survive claims that he was sent a video that contained this, which is a weird
Can I-
thing
can
to
I-
claim.
JFK was shot by Penumbra?
Can I just say that I find the actual text above? There's a joke in there.
What, are you talking about magic bullet theory?
Distance between bodies.
Are from center to center. Yeah, that's usually how celestial measurements are made.
Yeah, but bodies aren't really quite so easy. I mean, someone's head could be touching someone else, and the legs could be
Right.
some...
Look, Rumpus, we don't want to hear about your weird fantasies right now. That's just
So
not
what's Micro's
appropriate.
point? What's Micro's point? I don't understand.
No, this isn't Micro. This is his video.
No, he was saying it was funny at the top. I don't quite understand.
Yeah. Well, body. Never mind.
He's using bodies as opposed to celestial bodies, and he's.
Yeah.
Dora and NKU in the side chat is asking whether the Penumbra is hiding behind the grassy knoll.
Wait, why did you spell out her last name?
Because I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Nku? What?
Something like that, I would guess.
Yeah, no,
Please
screw that.
try.
NKU, whatever. Sorry. Let's continue.
I'm not going to show it, but almost everybody probably listening to this video, watching this video, has seen the assassination of Kennedy, where he was shot and his head went back and to the left and the front right part of his head was blown off. And yet, because the government said that it was a lone assassin in the back, this guy right here, Lee Harvey Oswald, just because the government said that, most of the people believed it, and the CIA came up with the term conspiracy theory to degrade anyone who actually wanted to use their logic. You see, logic tells you that if your head goes back and to the left, that means you were shot in the front right.
No.
So there are some people that actually use their logic and were able to tell before the 2018 release of the CIA files that show that, yes, indeed, there was an assassin in the front.
No.
And you can look that up.
It's called an exit wound. It's where all your brain bits splat out, and because of Newtonian physics, your head also moves.
Well, it all depends what holes are made where. If you get sort of pressure inside it, and there's a hole come out one side, then it's going to force it to the other.
Yeah, it's not also that. It's also like the jerking of the muscles when basically the brain shuts down, which led to that backward movement.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors involved in.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's say JFK has some fucking shadows.
Yeah,
Really,
that was a
Rich?
weird tangent, wasn't it?
That
feels like Rich just had a momentary stroke and like.
The angles of rays.
that's just whatever. Anyway,
Okay, so apparently in this diagram, he appears to be understanding how Umbra and Penumbra works. I mean, he's looking at it right now.
he had an animated one.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one that's being shown. I just paused it.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Released by Trump, I believe, about a year ago. So, or 2 years ago. And there's still more to be released there also. What can our logic tell us about the Umbra Penumbra? Are we making an assumption that just like the Kennedy assassination, that what the government tells us, and NASA is most definitely an offshoot of the government, just because what NASA tells
an offshoot of the government,
But hold on, that diagram we just saw there was exactly explains his problem.
Yeah, exactly. But he just tosses over it and ignores it.
Is offshoot really the right word here?
Is this his video? Is this his video? Presumably not. Did he designed it? He created this himself?
Yes.
No, these are all graphics that he put the video together,
Yeah,
but the
like he
graphics
picked
are,
it.
Are pulled from other locations.
So that because the graphic we just had on the previous shot exactly explained the basic problem he's having. This one, yes.
Yeah. So basically, this one that's showing basically what I was showing earlier in
Well, he's calling all
GeoGebra.
of that a conspiracy.
And then it's the next shot that shows the basic problem he's got with his image and these comparison of sizes. It's this one where he recognizes, because he's obviously presuming in his thing that he could see. I didn't quite catch whether he was actually presuming that he was seeing the whole. Well, he's about to do it, presumably the distance he's seeing, or he thinks presumably he's seeing all the diameter of Jupiter. That's what he's going to presume to do in a minute. When they compare it with the black spot.
Well, yeah, I mean, this diagram directly shows that once you get close, or the closer you get to Jupiter, the less of its surface you see, which is what explains why the shadow of that eclipse looks so fucking large compared to the planet in the Juno footage.
And he hasn't actually done any measurements yet, but presumably he's going to be basing that picture we had on earlier with the size of the bloody spot against what he presumes is the whole of Jupiter.
Yeah, not only hasn't he measured it yet, he hasn't even addressed it yet. He's not addressing the point that is being made that distance and, field of view actually matter.
Yeah, so... But he's got all the information here. I mean, he's even ignoring his own information. So if he drew this...
Well, he didn't... He might not have drawn it, but he did.
Yeah.
Like, he looked it up and put it, like... No one else put it in the video.
Yeah, right, God. So he's ignoring his own video. I mean, this is getting sillier.
I know, it's painful. Sorry. Let's continue.
Just like the Kennedy assassination, that what the government tells us, and NASA is most definitely an offshoot of the government.
It's not an offshoot. Actually, it's literally a part of it.
Let's go back to this. It is explained to him right here. Somebody's showing the part of the surface that is being seen from close.
In red. Did you see that? He put it in red for him.
And yeah, he prefers to talk about NASA and some conspiracy bullshit instead of actually addressing the geometry of what is.
That's the problem. He was too busy talking about JFK while this was on.
No. This is not a problem. He's doing this on purpose.
Really?
I think so, yeah. So he doesn't have to talk about this. He pretends to be occupied with something else so he can ignore this.
Why include this then? That seems a rather odd thing to do. Would he not include this?
I don't fucking know why he's doing this.
That's just insane.
You are trying to actually figure out his thought process?
Are you trying to make me understand the flat earther? That's just fucking hilarious and pretty much impossible.
Amazing that his biggest problem is being answered with this one diagram that he's included, and there's even drawn a little red line for him now of the field of view and the portion of Jupiter he can see.
Going to horizon that you would be able to see from low altitude.
I like the little satellite icon.
And he's going to presumably now not ignore this diagram in the next few minutes and do something stupid.
Offshoot of the government. Just because what NASA tells us it's true, even though do our senses tell us this? Do we just accept everything blindly, like 90% at least of the people did with Kennedy's assassination? Well, let's take a look at it real quick.
It's just unbelievable.
I mean, I'm assuming the rest of his family probably does.
I mean, presumably he's going from, because they lied to us about JFK in his idea, therefore NASA's lying as well because it's also part of the government.
I just want to say, Micro, that if you think that most of Kennedy's family are still alive, then you're wrong. They are rather unfortunate in terms of accidents.
And unfortunately,
unfortunate is a good word.
Unfortunately, the member of the family that should die hasn't.
Yeah.
He didn't do this, did he? He didn't do this 3D stuff, did he? This is all just copied of other people's videos.
Well, he
isn't
does
it?
have a 3D program, or at least he did at one time,
Right.
but that was a while ago.
Okay.
When
All right,
screwed-
now I
when he
have to
screwed
use a
up on,
disclaimer.
angular
Do not
rotation.
use a local light that's inside the house or
Why not?
inside your garage or something like that. If I did that, I would be absolutely hammered without
Why?
end. We don't
Because
need
he
to
would start
use an
drinking.
artificial light.
Hit pause. Hit pause.
All we have to do is
He said that in the other video too. He was talking about what do you call it? That he would get crucified by his followers and by other people in whatever scientific community or whatever. If you were to do this test with under controlled conditions with a light inside of inside period. And that's Rich, that is just demonstrably untrue. Now you will not get the exact same dimensions because obviously you're not going to be able to scale that small or scale down that small to get a 100% accurate model of the sun,
Yeah, you
moon,
need
and
quite
Earth.
a big light or quite a
You would need
small
you would need a big area to do that. But at the same time, we're talking about
or a
the
microscope.
existence. We're talking about the existence of umbra and penumbra, the two portions of a shadow, of which you can obviously do that in a room.
Hold on, is this not the guy who about a year ago, we covered a video in which he claimed that the shadow of something can never be smaller than the object itself?
Correct. Because he didn't
Yeah.
understand the difference between umbra and penumbra.
Yes.
Right.
So now, is he now accepting that drawing from this diagram he's got here, the umbra is going to be smaller than the moon, which is something he absolutely said you could not do, and even in a garage,
Well, no, he's saying that what you're seeing there is untrue.
this is untrue, or the
diagram that's
Yes.
shown right now. Mr.
I
Thrive
have-
and Survive thinks that's
He
the
is-
diagram
he is
at the
saying
moment.
that the people who sold us the Kennedy assassination sold us this, and
Yeah.
we're all believing it. That's what he's saying.
right. So
It's
what
all
is
connected.
so is his current position that umbras cannot be smaller than the object that's creating them or not? I'm now confused.
Who the fuck knows?
I think so, yeah.
I don't even know if he knows what his position
Well,
is.
he never,
absolutely-
Rumpus,
Yeah.
he never retracted his video saying that the moon cannot be bigger than 70 miles because the umbra was a size of 70 miles. Since he never retracted that, I'll assume that he's still believing that's true.
Right,
Which means
okay.
that he's
And let me
assuming
add
that,
to
that what is shown right here, which is the umbra being always smaller than the object under the condition that the light is actually bigger than the object, is false.
I mean,
Right.
that's
Plus, here's the
that's
other
not actually true though.
So
because-
this diagram,
yeah.
you're saying that the diagram he's offering on screen at the moment is one he's disagreeing with.
Correct.
Yes.
Well,
Okay,
okay,
right.
you have to correct you there. The umbra is this?
Yeah, but there's no umbra there yet.
Yes, there is. The side of the moon that's dark is in the moon's own umbra.
Yeah, but even then it's a little bit smaller than... Oh, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean.
Well, let's
No,
find
but-
out whether he is disputing this or not, because I'm now
Well,
confused.
let me just throw one last thing in there
Right.
before you continue. Hey, Rich. Now, most of flat earthers like to believe that the sun and the moon are in the same spot, or at least the same altitude, and they're both the same size. Well, then, just by pure geometry, the umbra for a shadow coming off of that, the umbra would always be larger than the moon.
Indeed.
Would always be ginormous if they were in close proximity to it.
Yep.
Forgetting the penumbra, but the umbra would be enormous.
No, the penumbra is enormous.
Well, the penumbra
Oh.
would be even larger.
Oh, sorry, the umbra. Sorry, okay, we have to really close here. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so you're not doing yourself any favors, buddy. So anyway, sorry.
use the real sun. Here's the argument. It's always because the sun is larger than the object that is blocking the sun, we get this umbra-penumbra effect. And particularly the effect we get with the the solar eclipses. And we have the shadow, as you can see here, comes down to a point, and
That's
then
not the
it
shadow.
goes the
That's
other.
not empty.
That's the light.
He doesn't understand that the
No,
shadow.
the shadow doesn't start until after the thing that blocks the light.
Yeah, there's
doesn't
no
understand
shadow
the
left
full-
of the planet in this picture.
Yes.
Are
I
you
mean-
sure?
Does he understand that, or does he think
the
there's
ma-
literally a place between the two objects where there's no light?
It's the magic shadow theory.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just that those rays have confused. He's got 4 lines on screen, and he's got confused by them.
Oh, the pain.
way.
Hey, if you
Totally
if you want to,
ridiculous.
I actually did this demonstration.
Oh right.
But
real
we're
life?
not going to get into that. I've gotten to that in other videos. Because what's ridiculous about it is, at 93 million
He
miles,
has got the
the
shadow.
ray.
Look, he's got the umbra there.
Yeah, why is the Umbra there?
He's pointing at it. He's not leaving us with any doubt now. There's a big arrow saying Umbra here.
We're gonna call that the unicorn umbra.
It's the front shadow.
I mean, that's just hilariously fucking stupid. Why is that red arrow there? It should be. Obviously, you cannot see my mouse cursor, but the people in YouTube can. The Umbra, that's this part. That part over here, that between those two lines behind the object. That one over there. Why? Why is this here? Here's light. All the way here, there's light. That's the penumbra, and that part and that part. Sorry, that's the umbra. That part and that part is the penumbra. I mean, seriously, what the fuck? And Richard, why? How can you get that one wrong? I mean, seriously, what the fucking fuck? No, it's just
as
fuck's sake.
Micro said it. It's a front shadow.
Yeah, it's the front shadow.
It's the Thrive and Survive shadow.
It's the anti-shadow.
We'll even name it after you, Rich.
I mean, seriously, why that? Oh, for fuck's sake.
Right.
It's called the rich shadow because it's so rich in light.
But at the people that have not seen this video yet, it's gonna get worse.
You're right. You were right not to stop me at the start of this when we were talking about the perspective. You said more stupid stuff. This is a
Oh my
Oh,
god,
extra-
Trader D has
extra
it.
level.
Trader D has it. It's the pre-shadow.
The pre-shadow.
That is perfect.
By that logic, the pre-shadow is largest the closer you get to the sun. Both thumbs up. Yay.
That is so
Presumably
bad.
he's about to but presumably he's about to dispute this diagram. Then it does sound as though you're right to say he's just showing us this to then refute it.
Oh,
Those are what we'll find out.
trust me, it's gonna get worse.
These are virtually parallel, and they do not spread out in space without an atmosphere.
Wait.
What?
What?
Who's they? Those are the lines.
Yeah,
They don't
those
spread out,
obviously
do
aren't parallel. They are getting more parallel the further you get away from the sun, for obvious
Right.
reasons. But they are never parallel. That's the point of them. That is why Umbra and Penumbra actually work.
Wasn't he making a case for the fact that being in space, the lines will not, the rays of light will not diverge? Was that not what
He
was
made the point once that light rays of the sun would only go away from the sun radially and not in every direction as seen from the surface.
Oh god, that's right. He did that as well, didn't he? Oh,
So why
Jesus.
doesn't the sun then look like a point of light?
Yes.
That is a very good question, Sly. Something that you should actually
Well, it's
ask
just
him
a-
once you
it's
get the
just a-
opportunity to
no.
do so.
It's just a very big point.
I see. We are redefining point. Got it.
I mean, seriously, apologies to everybody who has to suffer through this.
Thank you.
I'd forgotten that he was radial light only, man. Jesus.
You invited me. To
So,
worst-
that's not the
worst
argument.
superhero.
Here, though. But
Very good.
all you have to have is a larger sun and a smaller moon or a smaller blocking object. That is the whole thing. If you look up light physics, so to speak, with the sun and with the eclipses,
Light physics.
The rest of us call that optics.
And even then, that's just pure geometry.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What's his? I'm desperate to find out what his conclusion of this is. So it could go
You're
anywhere.
assuming he has a conclusion.
Yeah, I'm saying it could go anywhere. Where he's going with this,
Well,
and I can't
we
quite
already
predict
went
what
to
it's going to
Kennedy.
say.
Yeah, you're assuming that there's some sort of red line that's going through the video from start to finish, which, you know, starts with an introduction, then makes all the arguments, and then draws a conclusion from that.
No, it's the conclusion.
Unless, as I say, he's trying to do this to refute it. But I'm impatient to know whether that's what he's about to do.
Okay, I'll be AFK for like 30 seconds, so do me a favor and please entertain the audience, if that's possible.
Well, here, I'll go ahead and let me share my screen.
Well, they won't be able to see it.
They should if I go like this.
Yeah, no, now we can see it, but the audience can't.
Audience can't see it?
No, because Geo is streaming his own screen.
Oh, so Geo's screen's the one that's up then.
Yes. There's a difference between the Discord and the
the YouTube.
I feel like we're not really entertaining the audience. Is this super entertaining?
Okay, well then let's bring up a couple other things. Rich is the guy who says that cloud underlighting happens because clouds are as reflective as aluminum foil of the illuminated ground below it.
What?
Yes. The surface of the bottom of the clouds is what do you call it? The reason why we see cloud underlighting because of the fact that the ground beyond it is illuminated. So therefore, much like a mirror, if you had a mirror on the ceiling, you are seeing the illuminated ground reflecting off the clouds.
By the way, I'm back.
Right. So you're seeing the ground from somewhere else, sort of as a mirror of the ground somewhere else.
All the time because he's wearing it as a hat.
And let's also not forget that Rich's claim of gravity, or what gravity, you know, because according to flat earthers, gravity doesn't exist. What gravity actually is air pressure.
Wait, hold on. But
the higher air pressure is holding things down.
But so go back to the cloud thing.
He's not aware of Pascal's principle then, that the pressure acts in all directions.
Wasn't Rich one of the people who denied Earthshine?
I think so. I wouldn't doubt it.
But isn't that
know.
Earthshine?
Yeah, I guess that would be. Sorry.
This guy's amazing, isn't it?
I mean, seriously, it's bad, isn't it?
I was trying to present while you were gone, G. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, wait, I have to select you and then basically...
No, it was only to entertain us while you were gone.
Yeah.
Well, no, with something legitimate, obviously, but...
Wait a second, I can share you in a second slide. So, you are being live streamed on YouTube at the moment.
Okay, so, Rich, real simple. I set this test up. This was part of a video I did before. All this is basically a light bulb looking at 3 different size balls. Okay, one ball is smaller than the light bulb. This base ball is about almost exactly the same size as the light bulb, and this ball is larger than the light bulb. See these right here? This is Pre-umbra in the middle. Pre-umbra is the blur, as you called it, the blurry stuff.
By the way, stop before you continue. I just want to tell every male audience member that it is not normal that one ball is bigger than the other 2. So if that's the case, please go to a physician as soon as possible.
But Sly, you have done this experiment with a local light inside a room.
Yeah, I know. But now what I did was these are the lines that you're seeing. Basically, all those is the extent at which you can see the light, the direct light from the other side of the shadow casting object. It does not put a shadow in front of the object. Mm. Okay, it doesn't do that. And by the way, I also noticed this. Right here on your ceiling, there is an umbra and penumbra going due to some light coming from this room. You have your own umbra and penumbra right here.
Also, I just want to say something that I noticed now for the first time. What the fuck is up with his glasses? They're like all over the place. What the hell?
I don't know. That's how you take the curvature out of edges, I guess. he figured out the secret.
Well, that explains a lot, I guess.
Anyway, more garbage.
Yeah, let me just.
Wait, you mean this wasn't
stop
garbage?
Screen share. Oopsie. Stop screen sharing you. There we go. You can still see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then let's continue.
They will always say, oh, if it's a larger object, like the sun, it's going to produce the umbra penumbra just like we supposedly have with eclipses. Let's look at something local using the same sun that is used in eclipses. Now, this is simply a telephone pole that I shot earlier today.
With my gun.
And in the next video, you're going to see how the shadow does. This was late in the afternoon. And you'll see how it does when it is
Can we
very
pause for a
long
moment?
in length. And this is the actual physics that we can actually prove ourselves in person.
He just looks like, to anyone walking past, he just looks like a crazy person filming a telephone pole.
I just want to go to this picture. Do you guys notice something?
You mean his shadow?
Yeah, his umbra and his fucking penumbra. You can see how blurry the fucking shadow gets. Because again, that's the penumbra. And it's like sharper closer to his feet because the distance isn't as big.
You know what you can also see? That the shadow is significantly larger than him.
That's a good one.
Yes, but that's but that's caused by the angle of the thing it's on rather than the. I think all the context has been with a thing it's on which the shadow is falling is the same orientation as the thing here. So
Rumpus, thanks for ruining that joke.
Sorry,
I wasn't making it as a serious argument.
Okay, just checking, Micro. Just checking.
Actual physics that we can actually prove ourselves in person. So let's take a look at it from a purely scientific and
I just want to warn you, it's going to get stupid now.
observational point of view. What do we have here? No matter what object we use on Earth, it's going to be smaller than the sun. So we've got a larger sun blocking any object that blocks it is going to be smaller. So we don't have to worry about having an object that's larger than the sun. And let's just say we had.
So just to stop there, but that exactly contradicts what he used to say.
By the way, do you guys get flickering in the video feed?
No.
Okay, it looks like for me it's flickering, but it's fine, whatever.
Your audio cuts every now and then, though.
Yeah, your audio cuts out periodically. Yeah.
Okay, my internet connection isn't completely stable at the moment. I might have to turn down the bitrate a little bit in the future, but it has just stabilized again, so I guess it's fine.
But it's not too bad. It's not. It's
No,
it
fine.
only hits like one every now and then.
Okay,
Keep going.
whatever.
A blocking object that was located here. So here we have an object.
Why?
Hold on, let him talk.
Yeah, but he does understand that the outer lines don't do shit, right?
No, he doesn't understand what the lines are. Honestly.
Yeah, he doesn't understand these lines. These 4 lines are too much for him.
He called them pre-shadow.
Yeah, and we're pre-shadowing here.
Pre-shadow, yeah.
And what if we were somewhere in here? What kind of shadow size should we see according to this diagram?
But those
we should have something like
for the other object, you silly person.
that.
Yeah, so far he's right. If you have this object, this purple object at that distance, then at that further distance you would see a shadow of that size. That's correct.
Well, yeah. Well,
but that's the umbra, obviously, not the penumbra.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So the penumbra would be much larger.
Yes. I mean,
if I had to draw it in approximately 4 to 5 times this size.
Actually, no, you're wrong, Geo. Geo, you're wrong.
What?
Hold on a second here. Let me take a picture of that. Hold on.
No, yeah, that's right.
I mean, it would be the gray ball. Also, the pink ball would be in the umbra of the purple ball. Yes.
No, it would be in the end umbra actually.
Well, yeah, the pink one would probably be in the end umbra there.
Yeah, it would be. The inner lines still apply.
No.
The inner line still applies for the umbra of the purple object.
Yeah, and antumbra is correct.
Yes, it would be the antumbra, yeah.
Hold on a second here. Crop, hold on. because what he's not doing is he's not putting in the applicable lines for those for the gray ball or for the purple ball. He's following the lines for the pink ball. And,
Correct.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was saying. These lines were completely inappropriate for those
Yeah,
two.
his lines are inappropriate. That's about the best way to put that.
Yeah, there are no lines that describe the penumbra of the purple object. Only the pink
Correct.
object.
So what I'm
Yes.
doing is I'm drawing those out right now.
Yeah, and I'm
And-
already predicting that the penumbra of that purple object is gonna be humongously
Massive.
large.
Yes.
Yeah, the penumbra is ginormous.
I mean, considering it's the sun, it's gonna be humongous no matter what.
Well, I mean, just using the objects that are there. Period. What do you call it? The penumbra is you could to be in the penumbra of you could have about it looks like about 2 more of those gray balls up and 2 more of those gray balls down and still be in the
Yeah.
penumbra.
Yeah.
But the umbra itself, yes, it will be that will be in the umbra of it.
Yeah.
I'm turning down my bitrate a little bit. My internet connection is getting a little bit unstable. No idea why. So
Fine.
I have a 500 megabit per second line and 50 upload, 500 down, 50 upload, whatever. I'm now at 4,000 kilobytes, I guess, per second. So I guess that's still okay.
Yeah, there's the actual ones.
Yeah, there we go. And you see how humongously gargantuan the penumbra is. Wait a second. I am not screen sharing you yet. I am now. There we go.
Yeah, and if you were an observer on the pink ball, you would be watching a ring of fire eclipse of the from the purple ball.
You'd be watching an annular eclipse, effectively.
Mhm.
Yes, correct. And again, the outermost red line, that's the penumbra of the purple object.
Right. The penumbra for the come on, damn it, there we go. Like that. The penumbra. Well, it would still be down here, but just screw it. I'll just draw it out. That would be the penumbra. And oops, yeah, I didn't mean to do that, did I? And
You're including the end umbra there as well, Sly.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was arguing with myself about. But nevertheless, the penumbra would be here. Yes, the antumbra would still be here in the middle.
Yeah, so the blue area here now shows end umbra and penumbra.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, only a small part of it because, per definition, they're infinite.
But what about the pre-umbra?
Oh, you mean the part between the two objects that, for whatever reason, is still in the shadow?
Yes, the pre-shadow would only.
It's called the pre-umbra. Get it
So
right.
we haven't actually yet found out what point he's trying to make with these extra random ball objects he's shoved in the front.
He's showing that he has no comprehension of it. Or
Just wanted to go.
Besides the fact he's got no what point is he trying to show? Because we presume he's just trying to consider one object here. He's just putting the other ones in to somehow assist with understanding.
No, I think I know where he's going because he's gonna use this because then now he's gonna take like a ball on Earth and put it up.
What do you want to bet he puts another small ball after the gray ball?
Talking about small balls here again, Sly, seriously?
I just like to point out he seems to have a big fascination with the pre-shadow area that doesn't do anything. He's eventually he's going to have to deal with the post-shadow, the actual shadow area, which is actually what we need to be thinking about, not this pre-shadow area.
He's just creating new shit just to throw everybody off.
Pre-shadow is my one of my favorite.
It's what that
D&D spells.
It's what that JFK book told him to do.
It's a good one, Michael. I think we'll use that in future. Pre-shadow.
I didn't come up with pre-shadow.
You did?
That was straight. No, I said front shadow. Pre-shadow.
Yeah, but then you said
that was,
someone else said pre-shadow later.
yes, that was straight a D.
I still like pre-umbra. I like that.
Pre-umbra. Yeah. Well, that's just Latinizing it.
Oh, sorry. In the chat, you mean?
Yeah, straight a D.
Right, okay.
Came up with
well done. Well done, that whoever that was.
Let's continue.
Right? Sounds logical.
Foreshadow joke.
Because the argument is the farther you're up in the cone, the larger the shadow that would be produced. That's why supposedly we have
no cone, Rich.
No, it's right there on the screen. You drew it.
Yes.
10,000 mile and greater shadow on Jupiter because it's a little bit further up.
Those 10,000 miles are based on your fuckery. Because you did not get the scale correct because you didn't understand that was a wide-angle lens shot.
Yeah, Rich.
Nobody
you
ever-
fucked that up.
Yeah, nobody ever claimed that the shadow of, what was it, Io? Either Io or Europa.
I
I think.
Is 10,000 miles or kilometers or whatever. Nobody ever claimed that. And again, just showing my little diagram again here for a second, we can actually measure it and we can predict it. And the penumbra again has a diameter of approximately 4.3 thousand, while the umbra has a diameter of 3,000 kilometers.
How
So-
dare you use numbers?
Oh yeah, numbers. They're scary, aren't they?
When is he going to do with the post-shadow area, not the pre-shadow?
No, that's called the end. That's called the umbra and the end umbra.
Indeed, I know.
No, that's called the NASA secret.
Up the
Wait,
cone.
would it be? Would it?
Yep.
I'm not sure. Actually, it would be pre-umbra. Now that I think about it,
No idea. I never had Latin in school.
because if it's end umbra,
It
like
means
it's not post umbra.
I'm really keen to find what's his
Ante umbra, I
conclusion.
think. Whatever. No idea.
Come on, let's see. I want to know what he's going to do with all this.
Well, anti-umbra would be actually kind of correct. That means without an umbra.
No, isn't it anti-chamber? It doesn't mean anti mean next to or something.
No,
Opposite,
It
actually,
means
but
without.
Anti means like the opposite.
yeah.
Yes, not with. Yes, okay. Where's anti-chamber come from then?
Never do deoxygenation cycles in the antechamber while doing it in the chamber as well. Just a little bit of glove box advice.
So don't do it in the chamber, is what you're saying.
Basically, yeah. Let's continue.
So what if we were further down here, let's say in here, what size shadow should we
I
have
called
there?
it.
Yeah, something like that, right? So the closer we get to this focal
He's
point,
still pre-shadowing. Stop it.
Well, to be fair to him, Rumpus, he's shadowing the purple ball.
Yeah, but this purple ball. Yeah, but he's
He
trying to
doesn't
work.
know that he doesn't know that he's shadowing the ball. He thinks he's in some imaginary cone that happens before
Yes.
an object.
He's still not claiming there's any real shadow here. He's still claiming it's something to do with these rays that he's seen, and he feels obliged to drawing circles between them.
No,
It's not
I
gonna
think
come-
he's actually just too lazy to draw a new diagram and just set in that that purple sphere
Oh,
to,
you-
But he
sim-
had-
to
but he
simulate
had
the
an
shadow.
animated diagram that he could. He had an animated diagram that he could use. He used it in the.
Yeah, but against that was not his diagram. That was something that he received in a video.
so you think now he's talking about a real object that's obscuring things now?
I think he's supposing that the purple object is a real object that's obscuring things behind it.
Oh, so what's the point of the pink object now? What?
How the fuck do I know?
Come on, let's get on with this. If we've got to find it, No, I don't think he thinks they're real objects. But anyway,
You can actually abbreviate this to
Rumpus.
I don't think he thinks.
Rumpus, the problem is that you're waiting for something actually factual to happen.
well,
You know,
some
kind
sort
of
of
like in a movie. You know, a part of the plot that surprises you and actually makes sense. Well, this is going to surprise you.
I know it won't make any sense,
but it doesn't make any
So-
sense.
But
So,
even
well,
for him, surely he's got to
are
get
you
to the
saying
point
this
where
is
he's talking.
foreshadowing?
He's got to talk about the thing that's in shadow. Now, Alex has confused me by saying he thinks these are real objects with shadows now. But what was the? I know he's got to be talking about something to the right of the pink ball shortly, surely. Or is he talking? Or does he think these are Europa? Is he thinking the pink ball's Jupiter now, and then these balls he's drawing at?
We don't know. Why are you asking us? We don't know.
Okay, let's get.
the smaller the
Alex seems to
shadow
be sure-
would
Alex seems
be,
to be sure
and
these
then
are
of
real
course when we
objects.
come out,
What?
Alex seemed to be sure he knew what was going on here, but
I think I do, but honestly,
I think the two gray ones are shadows, and the pink and the blue are real objects.
Again, there's just no red line in this video. That's the problem with it. That's the problem with all Fluffer videos. They never get to a fucking point. Let's continue.
The smaller the shadow would be, and then of course when we come out on the other side, the further we get away from it, the larger the shadow should be also.
Stop. The umbra shadow is always smaller than the blocking object. This has to be using this physics.
Right, so he does now accept that the umbra shadow is smaller than the object.
No. He does accept that we think that is the case.
Yes, that's why
he understands our model.
Using this physics.
Hey,
sorry, right, okay,
Gino,
yeah.
Did you just command yourself to stop the video?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So he does understand that he does understand our model. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's at least one positive thing about him.
Well, hold on, because he also included pre-shadow in our model.
Yeah, and let's not forget, it's not shadows have nothing to do with a model. With a globe Earth or a flat Earth model, shadows are shadows.
Yeah, again, and this has nothing to do with physics. This is pure geometry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The pain is real, isn't it? Let's continue.
So he's building up to refuting all this. Okay, so we're...
I hope he's building up to something.
Come on,
Fuck do I know?
Logical, right? Makes sense. So if we have an object that is blocking sunlight, it should have the properties of that should go down to almost nothing, and then we should see that shadow come back out.
The properties of it should come down to almost nothing.
And then the shadow should come back out. He's saying that the antumbra should create a shadow in itself.
That the umbra gets bigger again.
It gets bigger again.
Well, you see, again, I don't quite understand with these are physical objects he's got to the left here.
Nothing.
Pretend they're physical.
Look, just listen. We'll play it again, okay?
I mean, it doesn't actually matter if they're physical.
We'll play it again. Let's see.
The properties of that should go down to almost nothing, and then we should see that shadow come back out larger again on the other side.
No.
Yeah, he's not understanding the difference between the umbra and the antumbra.
Yeah, but he's gonna. I think he's now gonna try to demonstrate that the umbra doesn't exist.
How could you even possibly do that?
By being an idiot and holding up a ball and saying, "Look, it doesn't become bigger again."
Yeah, I mean that's a fucking insult to fucking idiots. He's not only an idiot; he's an advanced idiot.
He was the basis for Wheatley.
Ooh.
The properties of that should go down to almost nothing, and then we should see that shadow come back out larger again on the other side.
What the heck?
That's just the way it is, folks. That's what they're showing you. And that's the argument that they have for the umbra penumbra. So let's take a look at...
That's not the penumbra.
That's the antumbra.
That's the... No. Oh, no.
Again, he's using this diagram the wrong way. He's
go.
using the lines that are representative of the penumbra for the pink object are what he's using to try to justify the penumbra for the purple object?
Hey, share my screen.
There we go, Sly. Give me a second.
Ooh, pretty.
Neat. There it is.
All right, Rich. When you are in the antumbra, the part where you say that the umbra seems to grow again, okay, when you are in the antumbra, that means portions of the light emitting object extend beyond that which is casting the shadow. Therefore, you see the edges of it. This is a type of eclipse called an annular eclipse, and most people like to call it a ring of fire eclipse. These happen actually quite frequently. And basically all it is that the moon is a little bit further away at this point. Well, actually a good bit further away, but we'll just say relatively speaking. It's a little bit further away from the Earth's surface at this point, so therefore its angular size is smaller than the sun, so therefore you are standing in the antumbra of the shadow. You are standing in the antumbra. That means that light from the light emitting object, those lines you keep on screwing up, the light emitting object is larger than the shadow casting object. So therefore, you see the light border the shadow casting object. Period. That's what antumbra is. And as as you move further, spreads out, obviously that means that the angular size of this particular shadow casting object is even smaller on the inside. That's all it is, man.
Okay, going back to the video.
Some real life situations. Now, as we cycle through these pictures, I want you to notice that we have things that are very close to the surface. We have clouds that are very high in the sky. We have clouds that are low in the sky. Penumbra on any one of these.
On
Do
every
you
one
see
of them.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, on every one of them, and it has an angular diameter of half a degree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And by the
Which,
way,
if you're
of
standing
course,
on the
of
ground-
course, the
Oh, well, I don't know, 50, 60 feet wide.
More than that probably.
Dumbass.
I mean, some of these at some height should have the shadow get smaller and then come back larger again.
They all do.
And we're going to look at the example I have of the light pole. And that is going to tell us
it's gonna get stupid in a few
That
seconds.
wait, hold on a second. Where did that I want to find that. You know what? That looks like it's 3D shit.
That looks like Flight
That's a-
Simulator.
yeah,
or
it's a
something.
That is some
simulator.
sort of flight simulator, yes.
Thanks for the CGI as your.
Yes.
exactly how light and shadow works with the sun when you have a larger sun that is blocking a smaller object. So you can go ahead and pause through these pictures if you want, but you're never going to see an umbra and penumbra. What you will see in some cases, like here, you see what I call shadow degradation, and we're going to talk about that.
Shadow degradation.
And that is exactly what we get. We
What?
do not
So,
get an
so
umbra
is this all
penumbra.
building up to the punchline to support his previous position, where therefore the sun can't be bigger than the moon or whatever?
Building up to a punch in the face.
I think so. Yeah.
So let's now go back to the. You can see how
what
low
other
in the
people
sky
would call editing.
the sun was to produce a shadow this long. And here is the light pole that I showed earlier in this video. And what we're going to see is, as we get way out there, we're going to see how shadow degradation works.
Yes.
No,
He's going to say it's blurry
I know,
at the end.
I
Yes.
I know what he's gonna do. I know he's gonna go look for the umbra at the end of that pole.
Really?
Actually,
I think-
you are both kind of right.
And I'll show you an example more close up how that works also. And this is something
he's
you need to
looking
go
for
out and do
the blurriness. He's
yourself,
looking for
and
that
you can
penumbra at the
actually
top.
measure this out and see. First of all, measure the pole. And I'm just going to say the pole was 8 inches in diameter. I don't know what it really is, but
You're just gonna say
Wait, pause,
you
pause,
say,
pause. Hold
so you
on.
didn't measure it?
Hold on, Rich. I got an idea for you because this is actually kind of difficult to do. Yeah, go on out there and measure it. Lay a tape measure out there
come on.
between those two cars.
Come on, Sly. We
It
both
wasn't-
know
it-
that when measuring his poles, he will be a little bit on the optimistic side.
It wasn't even the length. He was talking about the width
And,
of it.
that's what I knew that part. But yeah, go out there and measure it, Rich. Go ahead and put a tape measure on the ground, and I want to see what your starting point and your end point are.
And by the way, I just want to point out, you can already see the umbra, penumbra, and even the antumbra in this fucking picture.
On your fucking head.
Not even on the head. Well, you obviously have no antumbra yet on the head. I mean, it looks like
Well,
it.
his head. No, his
But on
head's-
the
his head
pole.
there.
Completely antumbra.
So didn't he just say, doesn't it, back,
Is that what he meant by punchline?
hands under the table?
You should maybe sit on your hands just to make sure.
Okay, right.
we're just going to use that as an example. What you will find is the shadow will never be greater than 8 inches. Never.
Bullshit.
What?
What the heck?
You can already see how wide the fucking shadow is at the top, right next to that road.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's much bigger than, what was it,
Go
8
and measure
inches?
that, yes.
That's a meter or so, maybe
Yes.
more.
Absolutely.
And by the way, take a look at that arrow in the markings. That is, the total shadow is never smaller than the diameter of the blocking object. Correct, if you count in the penumbra. That's true. Once degradation begins, the sharp part will shrink, but the total shadow size remains the same until light destroys the shadow with distance.
So
He's
so
describing umbra getting smaller, penumbra getting bigger, and
So
then
he's just
light
rewording it.
destroying the shadow with distance being the end umbra.
Okay, so I just did the numbers. What do you call it now? Being forgiving
The
and
numbers.
being forgiving just because of the fact we just said about Antumbra and stuff. Being forgiving, if Rich's head was 20 centimeters in diameter, left to right, not top to bottom, then it would have to actually be 20 meters before you got into the Antumbra.
Okay, and that's with that angle maybe half of that? Somewhere between 6, 7, 8 to maybe 10 meters?
I don't know. I'd have to see the zoomed out part again, but 20 meters away, you start being in the Antumbra.
So, yeah. Who would have thunk it?
Now, what you will also notice is, and this is more, you can notice it with a ball or something like that. I'm going to show you a ball that I did in another video. The shadow, when it is very close to the object, has no degradation whatsoever.
Yeah, because the penumbra is small as fuck, as shown in every fucking diagram.
And plus, it will even be there the first millimeter that's gone. It's just it decreases.
Just rewording it.
I mean, he confirms what we've been predicting. I mean, what the fuck?
However, once it gets beyond one diameter greater distance than the object itself, you start to get a little bit of degradation. It does not happen when
That
you're
is total bullshit.
Well, it's like he's trying to actually... He's describing the penumbra getting bigger with distance. He just can't get his head around it.
But he's saying that it has to be twice the diameter of the thing away for it to start.
Yeah, obviously that's false.
That's horribly false. He's inventing his own unit of measure. Already invented pre-umbra. Now we got what? Degradation units.
Pole widths, I guess.
What size were you assuming his head was, Sly, for your calculation?
20 centimeters.
About 20 centimeters.
Which is that's a fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
closer than that. For example, if this is 8 inches in diameter, the first 8 inches of this shadow will not have any degradation whatsoever. It'll be a nice, crisp,
So what if it's
sharp.
50 inches in diameter? What if it's a wall?
So is he saying that bigger objects should leave sharper shadows?
I guess. Because if I have a wall that's 20 feet wide and it casts that same shadow, I guarantee you it's not going to start to degrade, as you put it, 20 feet away from it.
Yeah, again, because he's fucked in the head, he doesn't understand that the angular diameter of the penumbra is always half a degree. Which means that relatively for the overall shadow size, it is smaller for bigger objects. But in terms of angular size, it's always the same, because that's the angular size of the sun, half a degree. At least on Earth. I mean, seriously, what the fuck?
Shadow. No umbra,
According to Ugly
no
German Jews,
penumbra.
you can't spell either.
Then as you get farther and further, 2 diameters away, 3 diameters away, and on and so forth, you get more and more degradation as you go out. At about 1 diameter away, you get about a 1% degradation.
Again, no.
One
Just
diameter at one.
Use a
1%.
smaller object and you will see this effect more quickly.
Yeah, what if you used a building?
Yeah, again, size matters. At least. And I didn't think I'd ever say that sentence, that size matters. Oh, wait, that came out wrong.
Well, you've never worked in artillery before.
Ooh, no, I have not.
Roughly. So 1% of 8 inches would start to be degraded on the outside of the shadow. Now, as you walk this through, you will see that the size of the pole gets more.
Notice something?
I'm not sure why he keeps talking about Polish people.
Actually, the pole does narrow some at the top. However, the shadow degrades so much that there is no sharp umbra near the top of the shadow.
Yay.
Exactly! That's what we're saying.
That's called the penumbra.
Because it enters the antumbra.
Yeah, that's where the
end-
penumbra. That's where the umbra stops and the end umbra begins. Because again, the further you get away from the object that's casting the shadow, the smaller the umbra is gonna get.
Yeah, and I can confirm Sly was correct. It is actually just over 20 meters to the antumbra, which indeed looks to me about the distance that where you can see it sort of ceases to be dark.
Wow, Rumpus is checking my math.
Oh, well, see, well, I'm feeling a bit poorly, so I'm being a bit slower than usual at the moment.
I mean, seriously, he's confirming us and he doesn't notice it. It's
He's literally just rewording it with really stupid words. He's agreeing with us, but doesn't want to use the same words. Which, I mean, fine. We can just change what the things are called. I don't care. Like the important part of something isn't what it's called. It's what it is.
So instead of Umbra and Penumbra, we have the Fred and George.
Yeah.
More narrow, apparently. It's the same diameter all.
It disappears, I suppose. That's what it
yeah,
means.
the umbra disappears and the penumbra is gonna get lighter and lighter. For obvious, the end umbra is gonna get lighter and lighter.
Yeah, but
brighter and
what he's saying is that the shadow itself, as if a physical thing or a transmission of some sort, is degrading.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a poor
no,
English. I mean,
it's
his English is
not.
terrible, isn't it? So,
No, his analysis is terrible.
Well,
I
everything's
understand
terrible.
exactly what he's saying, but
yeah, everything's terrible.
it's not what's happening. At least Antonio said that it had to do with ambient light. Come on.
Through. It's the only way I know how to say it. To where it just whittles this away to nothing. And it never then comes back with an umbra penumbra where you have another, where it comes back and gets larger again. Remember, this.
Look, he literally thinks that that there should be an ant umbra at the at the end of that pole.
Yeah, the antumbra should be a thing. Yeah.
You called that, didn't you, Michael, earlier at the start of this?
He doesn't understand the fact that, like, oh my god, and he still thinks that thing behind is just the penumbra.
Yeah, that's right. As you said in the early discussion, he talked about the shadow coming back, and he did mean it literally. He literally meant the shadow would reappear.
He literally wants there to be an ant which, I mean, yeah, that pole does have an umbra or wood, but the problem is the sun is really low. Like this doesn't work the way he thinks it is.
No, he thinks antumbra. As he said in the earlier explanation, when he's playing around with his stupid circles, that he said the shadow should come back, and he literally meant that. He literally meant that the shadow should reappear.
He literally thinks that if he was to take an overhead view of this, that it should look like the diagram.
So now, having not been able to find this shadow reappearing through his understanding of our position, he's going to then refute, presumably, this whole.
He thinks he has refuted our position because
he's now going to come back to the diagram. He's going to come back to the diagram now and put a big cross through it or something.
Yes.
Look, here's what I'm gonna do. First of all, I'm going back to Celestia. Actually, I'm just gonna restart it because perspective's completely crapped up. So Celestia. Let me share my screen to you guys. Celestia. Okay, let's go to Earth and use Earth as an example. That's the sun over there. Can you see it?
Yes.
I'm now in the umbra. Now I'm in the penumbra. Now I'm in neither. And when I zoom out a little bit, take a look at that. Now I'm in the end umbra.
Yes.
Just zooming in. There we go.
Yeah.
So that's basically the same thing. That's the end umbra. A part of the sun is covered by Earth, but you see the entire ring of it. I mean, seriously, what the fuck? How can he not understand this? And it's the same for the fucking pole.
No, you've cut out for me.
There we go. I'm just saying it's the same for the pole as for Earth. It's just nicer to demonstrate it that way. Let's continue.
That's good demo. Good, well done.
This is the same sun that is used for solar eclipses, so it should work on any scale. It should not be different just
Correct, and it does.
because we're talking about a smaller object. In fact, we should be able to see it easier because we don't have to have the great distances to make the ratio and proportion
Correct, and we do.
correct.
You just don't
So,
understand.
what you-
Yeah, he's too... Well, we're back at the old argument here. Is he too stupid to understand
don't-
this, or does he not understand this on purpose?
At this point, I don't care.
I
I
tend
just
to
know
agree.
that what he's saying is fucking retarded.
By the way, hello, Tout Ceti Alpha in the side chat. I haven't seen you in a while. If you just joined, I actually don't know.
I think he did.
Haven't checked the side chat for a while.
I
There's
think-
some material in this video, Tau City, you might want to put into your next compilation, just saying.
One word. Pre-umbra.
Something excellent. So, but I think this is a case of genuine stupidity because he's being so obviously stupid. He wouldn't offer this as an argument because it's so obviously wrong. So he can't know that if he knew what he was saying was bollocks, he wouldn't be saying it because it's so obviously wrong.
Well, maybe let's give him the benefit of the doubt here and say that he has
I don't care.
suffered from
honestly,
some brain damage. Brain damage.
I don't-
Brain
I
damage.
honestly-
Damage.
I
Brain.
honestly don't care if it's like I just know that what he's saying is stupid. That's all I need to know.
Well, Alex was going for the cause of this. Why
Yeah.
propagating this drivel?
Oh, for fuck's sake. By the way, Sly is taking a smoke at the moment because he's addicted to nicotine. So let's just continue.
You'll notice is, let me see if I can show this here. Right about there. Let's see how much I can show here. It degrades so badly when you get out so far that it just starts losing, you start losing what the object actually was.
Exactly, and that's what the end umbra is.
No. Penumbra.
Yeah, no, the end in the end umbra, you do not get that silhouette from the object anymore.
Obviously, yeah.
That's what he's saying
Well,
here.
and it would be upside down if you did.
Yeah, but whatever. So let's see. No umbra, sharply defined shadow with no light leak. That's true.
Light leak.
That's actually correct. What is written there is correct.
Yeah. Penumbra, shadow many times the size of the object, blocking object's shadow. Blocking
he's saying-
object's shadow? What? You can't block a shadow. I mean, you would just add more shadow.
Blocking shadow is adding light.
Of the original blocking object shadow.
The original blocking object's
He-
blocking object's shadow.
he-
Shadow many times the size of the original blocking object's shadow. Yeah, because again, the penumbra is getting bigger, but that's not only starting at the point where the end umbra starts. That's literally starting where the object starts.
He means the original size of the object, doesn't he? What he's
I
trying
have
to
no
say.
idea.
Oh, for fuck's
Yeah,
sake.
So what
it's
did I
not
miss?
quite right, is it?
Yeah, you
We-
missed stupid.
Okay.
Well, that
I
was
mean,
a gift.
Sly, take a look at that. He's currently zooming into the part where the end umbra starts.
Right.
And he described what an umbra is. Basically, he described what a penumbra is, and
Almost.
he's almost correctly describing what an end umbra is, but he just doesn't get his head around the fact that he's doing this.
No umbra, sharply defined as a shadow with no light leak.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. And yeah, there's no umbra anymore because there's the end
Shadow
umbra.
many times the size of the original. Yeah, penumbra, but the problem is that penumbra fades off, so it's not going to have a sharp edge for you to be able to see that anyway.
It's going to get bigger and yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Less-
shadow
less
many
obvious.
times The original blocking the object's shadow. Yeah. Okay.
It's yeah. He's quite slightly wrong, Sly, in the last bit where he's actually talking about the original object blocking its own shadow. But he he means basically the object.
Mhm.
So it's a bit of a wacky English, of course, but it's trying to be right. That particular comment, I think.
Well, we play with English a little bit, but
Wait,
Yeah, we're having to favorably interpret what he's saying there, but it's basically.
I mean,
okay.
speaking broken English is pretty much a given, considering the fact that he's American.
Yeah, that's right. It's always a challenge for them.
Sly, do you have anything to say about that?
nope, don't have a word. The first language I learned in Germany was.
Was what?
Well, of course you don't have a word. You speak.
Yes, Sly, you broke up there for a minute or for a second for me. What was the first
Which is quite
German
funny.
word you learned?
No, I said the first German language in English.
You broke up there as well.
Broke up again. He's never going to get it out.
Well, that's not me. That's the server.
I know it's not.
I
Your
don't
fault.
think that's a server. I think that's the like the volume threshold of your microphone.
No, my
No, you
volume's up pretty good.
Well, you just broke up the. Alex.
Okay.
Now everyone's breaking up.
Okay, maybe Discord is having a Discord quake or something. I don't know. Let's just continue there.
Yeah, let's continue. We'll never know what Sly's first word was. But never mind. It'll be a mystery.
More and more light
Ask
bleeds
comments at the bottom afterwards.
through. You do not end up with an umbra penumbra. You have no sharp edge whatsoever after a certain distance.
Correct.
Penumbra
That's the
doesn't
point.
have a sharp edge.
No, he's still in, for some reason, under the impression that the umbra is the penumbra.
No, I think he's actually thinking that the end umbra is the umbra. That after the point where the umbra stops, another umbra should start and it should get completely dark again.
And plus, he's hung up on this whole thing about sharp edges.
Yeah.
None of these things have sharp edges. None of them.
That's right, because the penumbra is very close to being the umbra near the umbra.
The
not
penumbra
what's
becomes
graduated.
the umbra.
Yes, it's a gradual thing.
Oh, Jesus. It's like saying there's no sharp edges in the colors in the sky on a sunset.
Wait, are you saying there aren't? Then something's fucked with my eyes.
Ja, vielleicht ein Bayern.
Franken, wenn schon dann.
Okay, take your interregional disagreement somewhere else.
Come on, Alex, we're never going to finish this if we don't finish soon.
So,
How far
according to
into
the
this?
diagram, this should get smaller and then get larger again once we reach that focal point.
There it is. Oh,
Oh no!
he really,
Wait.
He really meant, you were absolutely right, Marco. He absolutely meant this shadow would reappear.
Yes, he's literally looking. He's
my
literally
God.
expecting that if he took a top-down view of this scene, that it's supposed to look like what it is in his diagram.
Yeah.
Not taking at all into account the fact that the sun, what angle the sun is coming from.
That thing came up right when I was taking a drink.
Also, can we just point out that those lines? So not only
Parallel. Yeah.
Even
For
the
the
lines don't
perspective.
work.
not only are those lines not like, it's not just that he's not accounting for perspective, he's actively working against it.
Yes, right. They're not the same line, are they, going on?
No,
They're not straight.
and they should get smaller. Like they shouldn't be like the angles shouldn't be completely. They should be bent a bit because
I've not
perspective.
I've not seen a drawing like that so bow-legged.
Well, there's two things wrong with this. First of all,
Only two?
two principal things. I mean, there's like a shit ton of details, but whatever. First of all, why is the angle between the blue lines different than the angle between the yellow
That's what I
lines?
mean. It's like
That's the point we're
bow-legged.
making. That's the point
Yeah,
we're
that's
making.
the worst one. And second,
That's-
why
that's
the
the-
fuck?
Well, Geo, they should actually be different.
That's horizontal looming.
No, but Geo, they should be different because perspective. It's farther away. Like as you get farther away, they shouldn't be straight lines to begin with.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. But second of all, why the fuck are those lines so fucking bold? They take out any type of precision you can make in positioning them. I mean, that alone disqualifies this.
So
Everything disqualifies this. I think Michael did well to point out to suggest that this Antumbra shadow would reappear and get wider, following on.
I
did say it earlier,
hate that I
really-
was able to predict that.
But I didn't really believe that's what he was meant.
I hate that I was able to predict that because that meant that for at least a moment I was able to be in his
Embraced
mind.
the logic. Yes, bad micro.
Okay, we have
Embrace the-
4
embrace
minutes.
the stupid.
4 minutes to go, so let's continue.
That
It
must be
doesn't
why they
happen.
put that yellow post out there.
Hmm?
That must be why they put that yellow post out there.
Maybe.
Uh,
But then Mr. Thrive and Survive is probably the reason why they put the trash can where it is.
yeah. Those are actual geo markings there.
Let's continue.
Folks. So let's take a look at a ball that I did in an earlier video and compare that. So I actually did.
I'm sorry. I was answering. I thought it was participation.
Never. You never get an umbra penumbra. Let me explain what I have here, and then we'll be done. What I did was I took different balls of different sizes, and I cast shadows from our sun onto different objects. I even did smaller balls onto larger balls onto smaller balls.
Again, if your balls vary in size too much, you should visit a physician. I'm sorry, that joke is just too hilarious.
All kind of different distances. And I also did a video where I took coins, and started going more and more diameter distances away to show how light degradation works. And if I was to
Stop. Yeah, so light degradation, or however it's called, works, but umbras and penumbras don't. What?
Actually, you know what would be really cool? I'm gonna find. I have a bulb somewhere that's it's really bright, but it's a small element. I'm going to just shoot the hell out of his light degradation bullshit. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm sorry.
I mean, wait a second. There's something we need to clear up here. Does he think that the shadow degrades, or that the light itself degrades?
Well, he seems to be associating the blurred edges to degradation of shadow.
That just sounds like a fantasy term.
I guess.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
zoom in on
that
this,
too.
I'm not sure if it'll show here. Let's see what we can do here.
Yeah,
You can-
congratulations. Your picture is so fucking out of focus that you can't see anything.
Well, it also looks like to have several compression packs.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
look
no doubt.
look how unsharp the border of
Yes.
the ball is, and then compare it to the shadow. You
He
literally
got that
can't
from
see any surface detail or anything.
Did he? It's
Jeremy-
not his picture. He said he'd done this. He said he'd done this.
Correct. But again, the quality of the picture completely disqualifies it as any type of evidence.
Yeah, the shadow's no more blurry than the bloody ball is.
Well, I mean, he's showing on. To be fair, he's showing it on you. He has to blur out the.
Is it me or you? You're breaking up a lot.
Yeah, for some reason Discord isn't as stable as it used to be. For
See,
some
you were blaming
reason,
me.
I don't know.
So no one heard my joke. Great.
No, we didn't. We just
As if we missed anything funny anyway.
Yeah, that's it, Micro. We didn't hear you.
Let's continue. 3 minutes to go.
You can see that there's a little bit of blurriness around the edge of the ball here. Why is that?
No, that's
It's
the
because
shadow.
the
of
shadow
ball, not the ball.
is approaching or has just exceeded one diameter in length away let's just say this ball is 12 inches in diameter, and the shadow is just over
So you
12
didn't
inches,
bother to
13 or
measure.
14 inches away from the ball itself. That's when you start to get degradation around the edge.
Degradation?
Degradation, isn't it?
But he said degradation.
Degradation.
He did say degradation.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's irrigating light? Degrading?
Oh, for crying out loud.
Further away you put that ball, the more diameters away, the more degradation you get on the outside.
Congratulations. Congratulations, you have discovered the penumbra.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
The rest of us has known about it for a while.
Yeah,
Just a
for
little while.
let's see, 2,000 years, maybe more, probably more.
Yeah, I mean, we've been shouting it out for the last 20, last hour or so. Every time we saw one, said, "Look, there's an example there." And now he's finally
Last
spotted
2
it.
hours.
Yes.
The stream has been running for 1 hour 50 minutes. Actually, 1 hour 52 minutes and 55 seconds.
How dare you, math?
I don't think he
Never,
mathed. I think it
ever
literally tells him.
end up with an umbra penumbra. I challenge you. You can use the exact ratio and proportion as I did. I used a ball that was about the size of the moon, a ball about the size of the Earth, ratio proportion wise. I did the distances correct. I cast the shadow. I could not produce an umbra penumbra using our sun, which is larger than the objects I used.
You
He's
did
still
produce
correct.
a number
No,
of
he still thinks that the umbra is the penumbra. That is why he keeps saying it.
Yeah, because again, he's dumb as shit.
Oh, God.
Oh no, I think I just realized something. He doesn't understand that the umbra only starts like a certain distance away. Like it won't get larger than the object until you get a certain there's a certain distance between the thing casting the shadow and the surface that the shadow is on. So I think he might actually think that he should see like a bigger shadow, like that the umbra gets compressed, so that he thinks that if our model was that if reality was true, that he should be seeing a bigger shadow than the ball because
Okay.
of the umbra.
So, Sly, what are we seeing here at the moment? Is that a 2-scale representation of the 2017 eclipse?
Yes, that is 2 scale. The distance between a small globe and actually it turns out a ping pong ball is scale size for the moon in that case.
That's really convenient.
Yeah, I was happy. I think it's off by about 20 miles or something like that, but I mean nothing major. And then the string was measured out. Sorry, this is the raw footage. This isn't produced.
That's fine.
But basically, what I did was I put the ball for the moon. Hold on. That's the penumbra with a little bit of trying to line it up with the light reflection on the ball, but it's kind of difficult. And then this string going all the way up is the distance to the moon, and I lined them up with the sun, just as he said. Now this was something I did way before his video, but what do you call it? And that's just how it works.
Nice,
Great.
well done, Sly. That's good. That's a good little thing.
Light degradation. My
You must
left
have-
nut.
You must have put quite an effort to get the sun and everything in the right position to that.
Actually, it was just a matter of just moving
Waiting.
that damn pole around and keeping the string taut so
Right.
that the distance was correct.
They should sell.
Question.
They should. Someone should start selling ping pong balls that have the pattern of the moon on them, so that they match people's globes.
Now,
Yeah.
you didn't happen to actually repeat this experiment the other way around, right? To simulate the lunar eclipse?
Well, see that's what I was trying to do right here, but then you run into the problem of the fact that the iris of the camera is larger than the umbra at the ball, so therefore you end up in an antumbral, so it's all blurred like this. That's exactly what I was trying to do there, but unfortunately I couldn't do it because like I said, the aperture of the camera is actually larger. Oops.
Right.
So
You didn't climb up that pole. You presumably had it lying on the ground, and you put thing.
Oh, it was just a pole on a stick. It's actually one of the poles that I used for the water.
Oh, right. Okay.
And what do you call it? Because I was out there. That was one of the many days I was out there trying to put all those damn pipes back together again.
Right. Good
Oh,
demo,
for
that
fuck's
one.
sake, that's fucking annoying.
Excellent demo. That. In fact, I've seen a couple of others like that actually, with smaller scale than that, with the globe, and just had a 20. I was trying to get actually Carlos Pagan from another channel to do the same thing as. Yeah, that's a good using a proper full-size globe there. Yes, because it's quite. I don't think people appreciate just how far away the moon is relative to the Earth. It's a bloody long way away.
Well, that's what that was the problem I always had with Subarats when he invented Hilbonio. What do you call it? To talk about the shadow's direction on the rotating Earth during an eclipse. What do you call it? I mean, distance. Doing it to scale does matter.
Yeah.
Period.
You can see why.
If you don't do it to scale, then you're going to screw your shit up.
And you can see why eclipses don't happen very often, because
Mm-hmm.
with the orbit of the moon inclined to the Earth a little 5 degrees, whatever. It's just
6 point something, I think.
I thought it was 5. Okay. So
Also,
ecliptic.
it's relative to the ecliptic, not relative to the orientation of the Earth's axis.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had put these two things together actually not to do this. It was actually kind of an afterthought, but this was for doing reproducing the photos that were taken from the Discover satellite.
Oh, right.
Because people were talking about proportions. So I had actually set those up, and then I was like, well, screw it, I'm going to put this damn thing up on a pole and see if I can get it. See if I can get an eclipse out of it to look like the I mean, if it looks like the ones that we see in all the photographs of Earth from space, and guess what, it does.
Yeah, and the Discover, I think, is it twice as far or 3 times as far as that distance out?
Discover is at the L1 point.
Times,
that's actually more. I think that's 1.5 million kilometers.
Yeah,
approximately.
So it's a good ways out there, but I had actually lined that all up. I got all the measurements on the globe here, and I just set up 2 tripods and all that stuff. So, Rich, here's producing what you claim can't be produced using the sun and 2 balls to scale. I mean, come on, man. This stuff ain't difficult. You're starting to sound like Subarats, oh, you can't do it.
Okay,
Fucking do it, man.
I'm going back to the video.
Go for it.
So there's only 1 minute and 40 seconds left. So let's just let's continue.
2 hours. Yeah.
So just like with the Kennedy assassination, you can use your common sense and your eyes to see that the umbra penumbra cannot be proved, ever.
Because most flat earthers.
And during the Great American Eclipse, there was
what?
Most flat earthers, about 50%. I mean, I keep on. They break down to about 5 sections of what flat earthers. But a good half of them are conspiracy theorists, and flat earth is just simply one more of those conspiracies that they believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the other religious nutters, and then there are people who want to make money out of it. Then there are just stupid people who are trying to increase their self-worth by believing they understand something that everybody else doesn't, and there's sort of
and flat earthers also love to some of the flat earthers aren't even flat earthers at all, but they just kind of carry that flag to get the attention.
Attention seekers,
whatever bullshit story that they're running.
Yeah, they're looking for attention. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. But there's sort of about 5 or 6. Some of them overlap, but I think there are 5 or 6 categories, some of which overlap. And some of the religious nutters are also conspiracy theorists, etc. But
I mean, they're all conspiracy theorists. You have to be a conspiracy theorist to in the flat Earth.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean, imagine if you're a flat earther and you're wandering around thinking the whole of society is lying to you, and at least half the people must know what the truth is, and they're telling you something else.
Yeah, you must be fucking paranoid as hell.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's what I don't understand about the whole "it frees your mind" bullshit. Well, the only part that I've ever found that frees your mind in flat Earth is not taking any responsibility for any of your claims. But, it doesn't free your mind to think that everybody's out to get you.
I'm pretty sure that when they say free your mind, what they mean is stop thinking.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
And remember that being ignorant, I think they actually aim to be more ignorant and not get educated, because by being ignorant, you can just say, I don't understand this stuff, therefore it's not true. The more they understand, the more they can't refute the logic and the evidence that's presented to them. But if you are stupid and you keep stupid, means you can defend yourself against arguments from people, like us, and you can just ignore evidence and society and everything, just say, well, I don't understand it, therefore it's wrong. Being ignorant is what they actually aim for in many ways.
Yeah, and even when you try to correct them, at some point they will either just ignore you or they will actively block you because they want to be in that echo chamber.
And the classic thing is, if you do manage to get through to them, prove to the point where they can't actually refute what you're saying, you've made such a good case, you can guarantee what Just refers to as the flat Earth reset. Within 24 hours, they'll have forgotten what you said, they'll forget it, and they go back to what they want to believe.
Oh, just like Riley did that with me. I sat there for over an hour talking about turbines and horizons and shit, modeled the stuff out for him, had him go with me on it step by step. And he turned around, he said he understood it.
Yeah.
And then what do you call it? And then the very next day he was up on Oakley saying, "Oh man, he didn't show me shit."
Yeah, that's right. The flat Earth reset is what it is. That one.
More garbage?
Yeah, the rest of the garbage.
Never a partial shadow. People want to argue, well, the partial eclipse is a shadow. No, if I take a light bulb and I cover it partially, it doesn't mean I created a shadow. It just means I diminished the light some.
Thank you.
Wait, you didn't create a shadow?
So therefore the penumbra doesn't count?
No, he's literally saying that what he's literally saying there is the light that the light from the light bulb doesn't stop coming out until it completely covers it. That's literally what he's saying. That's not what he means, but that's literally what he's saying.
But at the same time, agreeing with the fact that it reduces the light in you.
Yeah. So the light is both passing through the thing blocking it and not passing through.
It almost hurts, man.
Almost? Are you kidding me? It hurts. Full stop.
Well, you must be in agony then, Alex.
I am. I constantly am. You just don't know. You have no
keep
idea.
on putting us through this.
I mean, to be fair, we keep joining.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so if I have to suffer, why should you guys be happy?
He drags us in.
No, he doesn't. There's no way he can force.
Well, I felt obliged. Well, I was feeling ill today, so.
That's even you even have an excuse.
Yes, that's true. That might be worse, actually. Yeah, you might be. Right. Oh,
More
garbage. Let's get them done.
Oh, look, we've gone into the Antumbra.
Yeah, Sly, I did the same earlier in Celestia with the Earth and the Moon.
Yeah, this was.
Actually, no, that's not true. Just with the Earth, Earth and the Sun, obviously.
This was the setup that I did for when Jaren made the same thing, saying that there was no such thing as Umbra and Penumbra. Just showing what the different locations were.
What's this light you've got there?
It's a big patio light at a place where I used to work.
Okay.
Neat.
I mean, the damn thing's about 1 meter across.
Yeah, it looks bloody huge. Excellent. It's a good way of getting your sort of good coverage light without being blinding everybody.
Yeah, no doubt.
More garbage.
Remember, by their science, the shadow should get smaller and smaller as you go away from it, correct? As you make the blackened object further away. Do this. Tell me if it happens. It doesn't happen, folks. All you get is the same size with light degradation around the outside. That's what you end up with.
No, he's definitely saying light degradation, not shadow degradation.
Yeah.
He's thinking that the light gets fucked in whatever way possible, not the shadow. It's the light itself.
The light has gone off.
And as you say, Alex, he's discovered Penumbra, but he's given it the name
that was me, but yeah.
Oh, was it? Sorry. Was it? No, he's not saying degradation, but
degradation.
Yeah,
but saying that he has discovered, congratulations, you have discovered the Umbra. It was me.
Right. Okay, but he has discovered that there is this thing, this fuzzy area, and he's decided to give it the name of degradation. And we've actually known about this and given it the name Penumbra for quite a time.
There's more of that light.
At least that's good.
Do you want me to turn that into a GIF, Sly?
That would be kind of cool.
But at least he's discovered that there's this blurriness there, so he's on the way to.
Are you
discovering...
saying he's technically making progress?
Yes, I think so. He'd be calling it, but eventually he might be calling it Penumbra before we know where we are.
I don't think Westboro Baptist will allow that.
Oh, those
is that his sect then?
Wait, you don't know who Westboro Baptist Church is?
Oh, those are the nutters, of course. Yes, sorry, those nutters, aren't they?
Yeah, those are the super fuck
Narrow
nutters.
it down.
Yeah.
And by the way, by saying nutters, you describe half of the United States.
Yeah, true. But they're extra nutters, though, aren't they? They're the. I mean, even the Americans hate them. Even the Americans think they're too religious. I mean, even the Americans think they're extreme religious zealots. I mean, that's quite something.
Well, I'm not going to say anything there, Geo, but there's actually political parties in Germany that start with the word Christian. So.
I know.
Okay. Anyway, keep going. Last garbage.
There is 50 seconds to go, so let's. I suggest running this all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Unless I decide not to do so, because there might be another claim that's too fucking ridiculous not to immediately pause the video for and make fun of.
I've just got to quickly.
Are you doing foreshadowing here?
I've got to quickly apologise to Ugly German Truce in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, let's go.
And you never end up with a shadow that gets smaller to a point and then comes back on the other side. I don't care what distances you use.
That's the blanket term of
So
shadow.
the reality is we can demonstrate in physics that there is no umbra penumbra. So if you're going to bring an argument up like the video I was sent, and again, I am very appreciative of the video, you're making an assumption right off the bat that the umbra penumbra is true. And I have gone out with measurements, with all kind of things, and proven that it is not true.
No,
you did the exact opposite.
Something else.
And you also acknowledged it. You just use different terms. That's all.
All you did was rename it.
Yeah, and then prove that he does not understand what it actually refers to.
Yeah. Nor can he spell. Degradation.
Using our sun as the source.
Did that.
God bless everyone. Take care.
So, just remind me, people, what did he do with the Jupiter thing in the end? Did he actually make a statement about how big he thought there was a black spot?
He basically just said, look, it's big, it's so super big in this picture, and Jupiter is supposed to be bigger than the Earth, so obviously it's fake.
Right.
So let me just show this again. So I didn't change any parameters here. So this is the umbra penumbra size that we expect for Io, which is the innermost Galilean moon. And, well, this will involve a little bit of scrolling there. Sorry, but there's no way to avoid this.
And we've now established the distance between Io and the surface of Jupiter is about the same distance as the Earth to the moon, haven't we?
Yeah, and the moon is approximately the same size as Io. Io is a little bit bigger, but whatever.
And the same distance.
Let's check out that one.
From the surface of Jupiter.
So, I need to switch on the lines. How do I do that?
Are you asking us to do it for you?
No, wait.
That'd be a little difficult.
Oh, dear. Sniff.
Where is my...
Yo, what?
I am missing my table of contents.
Oh, the
Functions. Formulas.
No, not that one. Usually, I think I clicked it away earlier.
Yeah, you did.
Ah, for fuck's sake.
Oh well.
Let me find it. I'm gonna find it. Must be somewhere here.
I was just asked by Team Skeptic what the dimensions of the Earth and the Moon were in my thing. Somebody asked me that under Quick. I used these in Quickie 6, and somebody had asked me what they were, and unfortunately, what do you call it?
Actually, I have a better idea.
the actual equipment that I used was out at my storage bin, so obviously I couldn't answer. But then I looked on the raw footage, and the raw footage had
There
the
we go.
markings that I wrote on the bottom of it on there. So
There we go. So
I'm just looking that up. Hold on.
.5 approximately. There it is. So let's switch off those four. So those were the ones for Jupiter. And solar eclipse. Those are the ones for Earth. For Earth, I actually set the angle as well. So Earth orbit, Moon orbit, let's say that way. Moon angle I'm gonna set to 0. And take a look at that.
And
Look
to
how
answer Mr. who doesn't know what Sunday is, Wendell, as I explained in the video, the reason why I couldn't read the eclipse from down at the location of the globe with the ping pong ball is because of the fact of the size of the aperture on the camera basically puts the moon in, or the ping pong ball in this case, into the antumbra. So therefore, and given the intensity of the sun, of course, it just blinds it out.
So if I set the Earth orbit to exactly 1 U, which is pretty much 150 million kilometers. So I'm just going for averages here. What the fuck? There we go. So that's Moon again. And as you can see, so the full line, that's the umbra, and the dotted line, that's the penumbra. So let's measure distances here. So I need that one. So points A and E have a distance of 180 kilometers in this case. So if I set this a little bit, for example, by getting the moon further away, as you can see, it shrinks down. And for example, at that distance, where the moon is 374.6 thousand kilometers away, you would get a diameter of 70 kilometers. But I remember the entire thing was in miles, wasn't it? So 70 miles would be 110 kilometers approximately. So that would be, yeah, around there. So at 370,000 kilometers distance. While the Earth is at the average distance of the sun. Obviously, this varies with the distance of the sun as well.
Okay, let me step on you there for a second. Okay, so I have and you can find it at timestamp 105 on Quickie 6. You have to pause it as I'm adjusting the distance between the moon and the Earth in my model. The Earth is 10.4 centimeters. The moon is 2.8 centimeters, and the distance between them is 3 meter 13, unless I'm reading that wrong. Those were the dimensions that I used. Sorry.
Okay.
I was asked in chat.
Yeah, it's fine, don't worry. So as you can see, we can predict the size of the umbra pretty nicely using the distances and the sizes of the objects that we just know by, measuring them. So I think we're gonna actually stop it right here because we've been online for, wow, 2 hours and 15 minutes. So we're gonna do it the good old rhetorics way. So let's start with you, Micro. Say what you have to say and then get out or stay.
I think he's asleep.
No, like the only thing I have to say to this is pre-umbra. That is the main. Like, I don't care how stupid all the other shit was. Pre-umbra is by far the dumbest thing in this video.
Yeah.
Okay, Rumpus.
I think I have to back up Micro. That pre-umbra business and it was amazing. And well done, Micro, also for predicting that he thought the shadow was going to reappear. And I managed to get some idea prediction as well that he's going to start talking about the umbra. But he seems to have discovered the pre-umbra. So that's a start. And okay, he's called it degradation. But there's some small chance that he may then start calling it by its proper name.
Okay, last but not least, Sly.
All I could say, man, is Rich, if you're gonna put stuff out to your people, now people get things wrong all the time. What do you call it? I am not above this. I get things wrong and I get corrected quite often. But here's the thing: don't double down just based on your own thoughts and beliefs. Okay, you don't double down on stupidity. Okay, do your research, create your conclusions. Going out to a field and taking a video of a pole without actually doing measurements that you wouldn't be able to do anyway is not drawing conclusions. Stop lying to your people, man. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you very much for joining, by the way, Sly, Rumpus, and Micro. To the still 69 people watching, thank you very much for enduring this with us. I know it's painful, but we all have to suffer through this every once in a while to make sure that the stuff that Mr. Thrive and Survive and other flat earthers and or creationists and other
Stupid
types of
people.
Yeah, stupid people, nutters in general, just don't stand unchallenged, because that's something that we shouldn't allow to happen. So again, thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for watching. Join my Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and etc.
Smash that like button, guys.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Micro.
Will Pena.
And see you next time.